excited and honoured to be joined by both Kristoff Krane and Graham O'Brien, the two guys behind the new record Kairos, which comes out today. You guys, by now, are mid-tour. Tomorrow, Kristoff is in LA at the Low End Theory. So if you happen to be watching this in California, there's opportunities to see Kristoff in action tonight and tomorrow. If more likely you're in the Twin Cities, then the 15th is the day to be on the calendar. Are you going to be at the record release? Great.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Where is that going to be, Kristoff?
It's at a venue called Co-Exhibitions.
Lay a secret. Gem on top your head, it may switch your crown. Dew drips down, but won't make a sound when it hits the ground.
You did a post, Kristoff, not too long ago, back in April, and you're quoting a scholar called White, I believe. So you quoted, Kairos is an ancient Greek word that means the right moment or the opportune, and it stems from archery and from weaving.
That passage, like that, the idea of the moment that the arrow that the target is being aimed at, and the moment that there's the release, that's a very like a symbolic moment, whatever that sums up. And it hit home with themes and with kind of the essence of this.
In one song, it seems, if I'm understanding the narrative correctly, it's almost like you go hunting. What's the story? What's the hunting story? Because especially with the way in which you described Kairos in that post, it was through archery, which is just one way of describing it. So like taking that metaphor of like your idea of thinking about the right, responding to the opportune time, doing the right thing at the right time, is this metaphor of archery. But then there's this kind of harrowing experience where you kill something. What is that experience, and how does it work its way into the record?
Young father, give me a gun, said you're gonna have a choice. Pointed it at the sun, lowered a couple inches, fingers sticking the trigger. Yellow bit on the limb, I shot it between the lungs. Done, barely made a sound.
Yeah, I was probably about 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I was with my grandpa.
Yeah.
And my dad. And I was up on the it's about 45 minutes north of the city, and I was in the woods. It was my great grandmother bought some land during the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And I was up there, and my dad handed me a BB gun. My dad and my grandpa are big like archers, and so they've always hunted deer in that way. And I was like 5 years old, and my dad handed me a BB gun. And he was, for some reason, he was just like, don't shoot. He's just like, don't shoot it in the air. And that was kind of the only like rule that he passed on to me with it. Just obviously, don't point it at other people or whatnot, but don't point it in the air. And for whatever reason, I grabbed it and like turned and like pointed at it was like a hillside with trees on it. Yeah. And I pointed at the hillside, and then I like looked up, and there's like a yellow. Now I know it was a yellow, a female yellow finch. Yeah. And so like I put the BB gun on the finch, and as I was like pulling the trigger, I just heard my grandpa, who was like 6 feet to the left of me, was like, "Christopher, no!" And I was like, and then it hit the bird. The bird fell through the ground, or fell through the air, hit the ground. Yeah. And my grandpa just like looked at me and was like, "I'm disappointed." Yeah. Like, never shoot a songbird. And the real significance of it is that I didn't remember that memory until it's probably like I think it was summer of 2013. Yeah. I was driving home there was a bird in the road, anytime there's a bird in the road, I always like go over it just in case it might be wounded, so that the tires are evenly on both sides or whatever.
Oh yes. So
and I did that, so so it has time to fly away in whatever direction it wants, and equal balance or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove, and like it just didn't move, and I like drove, over the bird, and then I like pulled over, went out, grabbed the bird. Happened to be a yellow finch. A female was like less vibrant or whatnot, and went back to the house, hung out with the bird for the evening. In the morning, woke up and brought it to the Minnesota like bird rehabilitation center or whatnot. And on my way, when I was driving, I was holding it on my finger, and it had a wounded wing, and it just started singing, and as it was singing, it like reactivated that memory. Like it wasn't accessible to me until that moment when I was driving, and the bird started singing. And in that moment, also, I almost had to pull over because a sensation happened in my hip.
Okay.
That like scoliosis runs in my family or whatnot, so it's like a the hip is kind of deformed and the spine kind of flays inward or whatnot. Yeah. And so that's been kind of passed down generationally. When that bird sang and that memory came, there's like a like a pulsing, like a twitch, like how your eye can twitch sometimes. That was happening in my hip with like a hot feeling, and so that experience was very profound.